Welcome, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, January 25th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5 card spread? First two cards we're starting our day off with. I love it. I love it. Double sixes in their upright. Good start. Good cards. Good cards to start the day off with today. 6 of Cups in its upright in combination with our 6 of Wands in its upright. Let's talk a little bit about what we've been seeing in these cards. And I am not surprised to see all this 6 energy right now because you guys may be aware we've got a planetary alignment happening with like 6 planets right now. So it's like, bum ba da, they're like getting in line. Everybody line up. Everybody line up. So what are we? Okay, so here's the thing. Beautiful energy right now as it relates to what feels like it is an alignment for everything about this. Like, again, the stars aligning. So what's the work today going to be about? It's going to be about alignment. Okay. Like, we get these terms for a good reason, right? Working in that space, like that feeling of being, I'm good. It is. It's a planet parade. It's exactly that. Like, this is the planetary parade to a certain extent, right? There's a procession here. At least see everybody's lining up. But a lot of this work, I want to put it like this. It feels like, and we're going to talk about this because there's a few things that there's like a whole, it's like there are several levels on what I'm seeing right now. Okay. Several levels on what we're seeing because it feels like it's hitting on different levels. Now, we've been talking a lot about the work that we've been experiencing in Aquarius. And a lot of this conversation that we've been seeing has to do with working towards manifestation goals. All right. Now, one of the most beautiful shifts that we've seen that have been happening right now, specifically as it relates to this, and this is a message that's been coming through very strongly. A good manifestation is not about what you get on the other side of it. It's who you find yourself to be on the journey of moving towards it, right? This has been a beautiful message that keeps on coming through right now ever since we saw that shift from Pluto out of Capricorn into Pluto in Aquarius, right? Because that Pluto in Capricorn, I mean, there was a bit of desperation there. That's the best way I can kind of describe it, right? Because when we move towards manifestations and we say, I'll do anything, you know what I mean? Like, we fail to recognize that when we say, I'll do anything, that often means I'll become anyone, right? Like, this is how we effectively feel like we move off of our own personal mark, because those spaces or places of identifying what feels like it's an alignment to us, it often creates those moments. And, you know, one of the things we kept seeing that was beautiful about this shift out of Pluto in Capricorn into Pluto in Aquarius is, you know, what is like Pluto in Capricorn very much was in that state of saying, no matter what the price is, the price to be able to move towards manifestation. But that in itself, looking at something and saying, like, looking to try to reach for something. Often when you try to reach for something and you're not mindful of who you're becoming on that journey, it's like, that's why when you sometimes reach a manifestation goal, you feel so energetically empty, right? Because you're like, it's like, you know, it's like dragon hoarding energy. Like, I have the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, why don't I feel happy? Like, oh, it's like, well, because like you got this stuff and you sucked along the way. Like, it doesn't change who you are. You know, a beautiful thing that we're seeing right now that's happening specifically with Pluto in Aquarius is the fact that a good manifestation is not about just looking from like the beginning to the end. It's not like looking at the book and saying, this is what happens on chapter 1. This is what happens on chapter 1,000. And all that other stuff is just junk, right? like that's the hard part. It's building into a space of feeling the amplification of joy, of finding oneself on the journey of reaching for something, right? That's why we call it like, what's the difference between a trip and a journey? A trip is like you're not looking around, you're not enjoying it, right? You're just trying to get from one place to another as quickly as possible. A journey, like a journey, right? Like a journey is one that you enjoy. You enjoy the trip. It's like you enjoy the travel from the beginning to the destination, right? It's building into that context. So we see even now, there's a lot of this work, and this is why this was coming through yesterday. This was like a very profound message that was coming through, that was helping a lot of the energy in separation to heal right now. And this is what I was talking about having to navigate some of that like bittersweet energy that we see for a lot of the energy in separation right now. This is why there's parity right now between both masculine and feminine in that space, because they're both working. Remember how I said we saw this like switch up that happened yesterday between the masculine feeling the strength that it takes to be able to move from a place of vulnerability and feeling good in that space, feminine being honoring their energetic journey that's helped them recognize that they're exactly where they need to be. What are these energies saying in unison right now to heal? What is for me will not require me to disassociate on the journey of moving towards it. What is for me will not require me to disassociate on the journey of moving towards it. And I just keep seeing that something about that energetic release process that's happening right now for a lot of the energy in separation. This is releasing, this is karmically healing, because this is the energy that, again, during that full moon in Cancer, feeling a lot of that nostalgia coming up, but being able to tell the difference between what the emotions were asking versus what they were feeling, drawing one towards. There's a lot of this energy that keeps on saying to themselves in separation, make no mistake, I can tell the difference between the volume of my emotions that ask for things versus the destination of the higher self. And if there's something here that made the masculine and feminine energy feel like they were being pulled in two different directions, right? The emotions that live in the past that may have felt like they rose up during that full moon in Cancer cycle, in combination with the force of the energy of the higher self that feels like it's guiding them forward in the direction oppositional to that. This is how the energy is figuring out the right direction, because this is the energy that says in separation, the energy that is for me does not require me to disassociate on the journey of moving towards it. And that's why I told you I'm seeing so many different modifications right now, so many different modalities of how that is happening in separation, because depending on how one feels, navigating through that lesson is effectively helping energy right now define the direction that they're intending on going towards, right? So for some of that energy, letting go of the past, feeling the weight of a hurt because of that desire for something to fit into a manifestation goal, and recognizing that it did not, right? The energy that goes, if I just close my eyes to all these things, then yeah, this is exactly what I want, right? Like, that's not a healthy manifestation. That's a manifestation that requires one to disassociate in order to like maintain the space of feeling like you have it. So we see that there's either energy here that's letting go of those processes as they move towards their manifestation, while I see some other energy here that's working through that, in that space of holding on to something and trying to heal so that they can have the confidence to move forward, right? All of this energy right now. The nice thing I like about this is it's moving. It's like the energy's it's all moving in a certain direction, but it's like it feels like the energy that is finding the alignment of what that direction is. Now, that's why I kept saying right now, for the energy coming into divine union, I don't have a lot to say right now for the energy coming into divine union, because a lot of that energy that is coming into divine union right now, we're effectively identifying this is the energy that this energetic frequency feels very reinforcing to a lot of those connections right now. Because a lot of that energy, I keep on seeing, this is the energy that I told you. This is the same reading as yesterday. We do, and this isn't the energy that sits stagnant in a moment. They say we do everything that we can to fix something, and we let time figure out the rest, right? So this is why we see that this is some of the energy coming into divine union, going through that sorting process as it relates to another's perception and saying what is within our power to change and what do we have to kind of leave to time, right? Because these are growing pains. This is more sweet bitter that we see for the energy coming into divine union right now. A lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, I feel like we're finally starting to get a little bit of stability here for the energy coming into divine union, because that same sense of feeling energetically aligned, seeing something in the same way. This is why this is energy that pushes the envelope in terms of navigating uncomfortability between themselves in partnership, because there's something about processing through the discomfort of difficult conversations that immediately heals the wounds of intimacy, because I just keep hearing that energy say, on this we can agree. Feeling that immediate support, right? So there's a lot of healing that's happening today as it relates to working through those bonds of intimacy. Continuing to get clarification, center card for today's spread is star energy. And it's a little, I got to tell you though, it's a little bit of this like, I'm good kind of energy. You know, welcome to 2025, which is effectively like honoring your nope. You know what I mean? Like it's honoring your nope to a certain extent. It's a little bit of that, like, I want to say, absolutely not in the most beautiful way, right? Because when we are, and this is why we were talking about this, like that sense or that space of working through, and I keep on getting the same message, which is a lot of energy that is healing the anxiety in relationality to rejection. This was huge. This was a huge breakthrough for the energy coming into divine union right now. And that's why it's actually moved up now into the energy deep within divine union, because it's in that moment or in that modality of being able to talk about something that is cringe, something that would typically make you feel cringy, right? Like this is the energy that feels that, I want to say, that warm embrace of comfortability, talking through something that makes one cringe, right? It's like there's a lot of this energy that's like in that space of saying I'm cringe, but I'm free, because that's the energy that like, that's the energy that recognizes and doesn't feel the sense of being as energetically concerned as it relates to the perception of others, right? So I just keep seeing that there's something very profound about that work right now. And that's happening both for the energy deep within divine union and for the energy coming into divine union. It's a bit harder right now. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a bit harder right now for the energy deep within divine union, because something about that, it says to me, having to deal with others not honoring vulnerability is what I'm seeing, right? And when we're navigating, like this is often how like wounds of intimacy wounds occur, right? This is how we have an intimacy wound. Someone that does not energetically honor our vulnerability. So a lot of that work that we're seeing to a certain extent here, like this is the energy deep within divine union that cherishes that vulnerability, right? Like this is how we heal by moving into a state of vulnerability and feeling the embrace of another who honors that and sees that as a gift, right? While for masculine and feminine energy, and that's happening for both masculine and feminine right now, deep within divine union, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. It's interesting too, because I almost feel like a lot of this Pisces energy right now, moving into divine union, is moving into Virgo energy, right? Like that's what it really feels like. This is how that all that, I told you, what are we going to do with all this fish kind of energy? Like moving it into Virgo energy, the fish that's a gift, being like it's a gift, right? Like it's a gift. And so that ability of being able to do something with it the way that one feels best, like this is a lot of that energy that's like transmuting something into a positive thing. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, That's why this feels so stabilizing for the energy coming into divine union right now, because everything I keep seeing for the energy coming into divine union, like if that's the thing where another person was not honoring the partnership, like it feels like the energy that just steps back and puts their hands up, because that's the energy that again says it's not for you, right? Like we don't move in partnership for you. We do it because of what's integral within. So everything I see about this right now, like this is even, I told you, more of that like delightful bickering, putting one's concentration and energy and efforts into like working through small things right now. Because I see a lot of planning right now for the energy coming into divine union, but it feels positive because it feels like the bickering is a celebration to see how far they have come. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, this is the refining of the manifestation goal. I see like today feels like a big day in relationality to partnership, especially if you're in separation, because everything I keep seeing here to a certain degree, this is the amplification of energy that is recognizing via the adaptability and the clarity of the self, what direction they're moving into, right? And a lot of this is masculine. And what's beautiful about this, I keep on seeing those mantras that what masculine and feminine were saying in separation. They're now saying the counterparts, which is a good sign that there is already a lot of these partnerships that are coming together right now in separation, right? Because for the masculine that may have felt like that opening or expansiveness of vulnerability during that full moon in Cancer, I see a lot of this masculine energy. I just keep on hearing the masculine energy in separation that's healing by holding the pose, not apologizing for their vulnerability, saying to themselves, I'm not going to apologize for it because I'm not sorry for it, because my vulnerability is a gift, and you don't apologize for a gift that you give someone, right? While for feminine, I see that that's a lot of the feminine that's in that. So that's a masculine saying, again, I am getting stronger every day by being vulnerable, right? Like, there you go. So there's now the masculines in that space. And this is the feminine that's in that space where, again, if this is the feminine that was working on building their own sense of strength in relationality to understanding and honoring their standards, this is the feminine energy that, like, again, works through any of those experiences of the past, wherein, again, they felt like they may have had to disassociate in order to build into the context of something that they wanted to be the manifestation, but they recognized was not. This is the energy of the feminine that says, again, the energetic partnership, like for me, is one wherein my standards, my vulnerability is seen as a gift, not an expectation, right? So this is the feminine that's now saying, I am exactly on time. I'm exactly where I need to be, right? And so what are these, both of these energies right now are saying the same mantra as they move towards one another, which is, again, the manifestation for me is not going to require me to disassociate in the process of receiving it. So that's a lot of that work that we see right now that is creating that expansive point, right? By recognizing what something feels versus what, like comparative in terms of something that was experienced in the past versus what one is moving forward to in the present. Fourth and fifth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here Chariot card in its reversal in combination with our 7 of Cups in its reversal. This is important, right? Because, again, one way we move towards a healthy manifestation is recognizing what was not the healthy manifestation, right? This is why often on that journey, I see that this is why I told you this is bittersweet, because a lot of this energy right now coming out of separation or moving in separation, what are they really doing? They're letting go of the grief in relationality to experiences in the past, wherein they thought they were moving in the direction that they thought the manifestation was, but they felt that energetic limitation point, right? Processing. There's a lot of processing that's occurring right now, and a lot of that, and this is why we often have these moments where we come into activation and we start feeling a lot of feelings right now that come up, because if these are the energies that are recognizing something from the past that required them to disassociate, like if this is the energy that was like, oh, I thought that was it, but I was actually disassociating, like recognizing this, I just keep seeing there's a lot of this energy. Like, this is why I told you these partnerships that are happening right now is all warrior energy, because this is the energy. Why is it warrior energy? Because they honor the journey. They understand the lessons. They utilize, they don't feel like something is happening to them. They understand what it is that they're taking with them as they proceed going forward. And for masculine and feminine, there's a lot of similarity that I'm seeing right now, but I'm also seeing, and that's why, again, I feel like the one thing that I see right now for a lot of the energy and separation is that space of honoring the journey. But that's why I also say that, like, that now we have to talk about a little bit of that pickiness, because the only thing that I would be like conscientious of in some of this energy that I'm seeing, because so much of this, I got to tell you again, so much of this Aquarian energy can feel very picky, right? What can happen with Aquarius energy? Getting into a little bit of analysis paralysis sometimes. Remember, focusing on like the energetic ideal that sometimes feels different than what one sees in tangible reality. And so again, this is more of that energy that I see, that this is how the energy and separation is navigating. Because again, it's not the fact that pickiness is a negative, right? But it requires a qualitative approach. It's not picky if it's important. When we prioritize what is important to the self, we understand that another person might see that as picky. But when we feel like something is important and another person sees it as picky, then we understand that we're not necessarily in alignment, right? Because another person does not recognize something that we find energetically important. So that's why I see even now there's something about this. It feels very much like a pick, like the refinement of manifestation goals. And that's why I say, if you're trying to go through that right now and you're experiencing that, these are the questions that one must ask oneself if one is feeling a little bit of this energetic pickiness in Aquarius season. The higher self always has a reason as to why they're being picky. The ego will also always say, because I want it that way. Because it's not the way I expected it to be. Because I didn't want it like that. Like, the ego wants to see things the way they want to see things, right? And that's why I feel like there's a lot of this energy right now. I keep on hearing the same message for the energy and separation, which is, it was the moment that I let go of the dream that I found the dream. And that doesn't mean, remember what I'm saying here, it doesn't mean that that is someone who gives up. Surrender does not mean give up. Surrender means that you move in energetic harmony towards what it is you desire in terms of the things that you're focusing on. And then you say to the universe, as the rest, surprise me. Surprise me. I'm doing my part. You surprise me with the rest. Continuing to get clarification, this is why the energy, this is the most fun, the supportive right now for the energy coming into divine union, because this is the energy coming into divine union that says we've done everything we can do. And if there's something outside of the self that can't be done, we leave it to time to do the rest. Because I just keep seeing that there's something about that, those circumstances or situations where it's like, if you see something that another is perceiving in such a way, you just kind of look at it and you say, well, this is the energy that I can see. I keep on hearing like mirroring. Like, this is some situations right now, masculine and feminine. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, that just sees something in another. And it's not just the fact that they see it, but they can remember feeling that way. And sometimes in those moments, this is why that energy is sweet bitter, because this is the energy that says, I hope they don't, I hope the day comes that they'll see something the way that I do. But it can feel very difficult because it almost feels like that, like, again, karmic release and understanding and identifying someone that isn't in the same place as you are on your energetic journey. But that's why I see even now, like, the biggest hurdle I see for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now is just like, there's a lot of bickering energy here. There's a lot of like, don't let perfect stand in the way of good, right? Because there's something about that right now where it's like, I almost see this energy like reaching a level where they're like picking apart things that aren't really super important, right? Like sweating the small stuff kind of energy. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this feels more fundamental because there's some really deep, deep healing of intimacy wounds right now happening for energy deep within divine union. And whenever we're healing deep intimacy wounds, it can feel very triggering. So I almost see some situations right now where energy is having like triggering conversations, right? But like almost like I want to say pushing their own envelope along the way, because this is the energy that does not shy away from being triggered, right? And that doesn't mean that that is energy that tries to be provocative, but this is the energy that says that their ability of navigating through something energetically triggered is how they energetically heal something, right? Like that's just the energy that, like, again, and and again, I know you guys don't like this Mars retrograde energy, but I told you, everybody's starting to try like navigate things like an Aries would. Like, and I just keep on hearing that there's something about that Aries, like that energy that says, like, I'm not going to allow something as small as like a personal trigger to stand in the way of a difficult conversation, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Six of Cups in combination with our Six of Wands in its upright. We've got double, I got to show you right now, we've got double sevens right now and double sixes, and the sixes are upright and the sevens are reversal. So this is more of that space of, again, remember today, don't let good stand in the way of don't let perfect stand in the way of good, but at the same time, don't move off of one's own priorities. One card to clarify. It's a complicated message. One card to clarify. Balance. This is how we find balance, right? It's like, it's not a one size fits all approach to a certain extent. Right? There's a lot of this work that I see that feels like the subtle, like the difficult new, like navigating nuance is almost what I'm seeing here. Working through and navigating nuance. And a lot of this work right now, I keep on hearing like working in a space of not being energetically misunderstood, and this is what I keep seeing right now, and this is why this energy deep within divine union, it feels very balanced, because I just keep on seeing that a lot of this energy deep within divine union, there's so much of this work that feels like an extension or an opening, as it were, like a lot of this like opening up about things or speaking towards things, but in a way that feels very restorative, right? Like I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy working in that space, like I just keep on seeing a lot of the energy deep within divine union just saying, like, put it on the table, because this is the energy that says that there's nothing that they can't put on that table, because all of that stuff that we're seeing here, this is the energy that is working through that context of, again, feeling like confident and good about themselves to such a degree that they're able to build into that context of talking towards counterpart in such a way that this is the energy that like works on the self as it relates to working through something and saying to a counterpart, for instance, do you see this, like, am I missing something? Like, that's it. Like, that's the beauty of that conversation, because this is almost the energy that's processing in such a way that they're outwardly processing towards counterpart to see if they're energetically missing something, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, same exact work right now. I'm starting to see some new energy moving into divine union. I'm starting to see some new energy moving into divine union today. There's energy moving into starting to move into divine union today is what I'm seeing here. Because I feel like I keep on seeing some of the energy now in separation saying, this is it, isn't it? There's something here, like this is happening. Like there's something, some energy right now in separation. And I feel like there's energy in separation right now moving into balanced partnerships. This is that warrior energy. someone that recognizes how to maintain balance in partnership. It's not something that you can create. It's something that you find. That's like some of the lesson that I'm seeing that's happening for a lot of the energy coming into divine union out of separation. It's the breakthrough of saying you don't create balance, you find it, right? And this is the energy that effectively articulates and works and feels the sense of release and finding the balance within that makes it easier to see it outside of self, right? And so even here, like what's beautiful, and this is the two different journeys that we see that are bringing masculine and feminine together right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. I just see a lot of this energy saying, I'm ready, right? And I'm going to tell you even now, some of that energy is moving into partnership. And what are they saying as they're moving into alignment? I'm ready by saying, I'm ready to let go of the past, right? Because this is the energy that's finding the balance in the present. And that's the moment that they start to heal, right? Well, for some of the energy right now, I just keep, and I got to tell you even now, there's some, just as I see some energy right now moving into divine union, I see some energy coming into separation. But I also hear the energy coming into separation, something being said in terms of saying, it's fine. Why is it fine? Because this is the energy that recognizes the reasons why. And we don't build karma when we understand the reasons why an energetic separation is occurring. Because in those moments, when we understand the lesson, it's not karma, it's dharma. We feel that sense of understanding. We feel that sense of release and relief. So I see even now what's nice about this is even if there's some moments right now for some energy in separation, finding something that is picky, but it's important. This is the energy that says, like respectfully to one another, that's okay, because this is the energy that honors each other's journeys to such an extent that they say better to know now, better to recognize it now than to do each other the disservice of moving something further on and finding out only at that point, right? So even here, there's something about if there are some separations that are occurring right now in separation, there's something about the ease by which another is letting another go that is helping another even then on their journey, because I hear the energy going, it was that easy. It could be that easy. It doesn't have to feel like a pull and push. And I see someone being like, yeah, it can be that easy. Like I keep on hearing the word respectfully, right? like respectfully. Be like, look how easy it was. Now, continuing to get clarification here between our Six of Wands in combination with our star energy. And this is why I keep hearing respectfully, 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 because there's something about the respectfully part that feels healing. One card to clarify, please. Four of Cups in its upright, right? I just keep seeing that there's something, there's something very beautiful and profound that is occurring right now for the energy in separation. And a lot of it, and this is why, this is not just I keep on seeing the energy in separation is no longer hooked on a feeling, is what's coming through. The energy in separation is no longer hooked on a feeling. Why are we seeing that? Because this is the energy that doesn't just move in the realm of what they feel. They introspect upon what they feel to understand what the feelings are asking for, remembering that emotions are not directions, right? The directions are directions. Manifestation goals are directions. Feelings ask for things to accommodate to the directions, right? Like the emotions are like, psst, by the way, right? But this is why I keep on hearing a lot of that energy saying, make no mistake, I can tell the difference between feeling something and understanding what the feelings are asking for. And I see this right now because I see even now that there's some energy in separation that still feels very energetically connected to something from the past. But I also see some of that energy recognizing that that thing that they're feeling is a longing for something that they never received. That this is the energy that can tell the difference between an emotion that feels fulfilling and the emotion of longing. And this is why we're often caught in a lot of these karmic cycles in the past, because we feel a strong amount of emotion for something that we never received. And this is not the energy that feels that strong emotion and says, oh, I must be going in the wrong direction. This is the energy that can introspect on the difference between, I keep on hearing, a cup that was filled versus a cup that was empty. Because when we experience the cup that was empty, we sometimes create a longing for something, but we recognize that we feel a longing for something that we never received. That is the desire for a manifestation goal that never came into fulfillment, right? And so that's the energy that says, I'm healing from a lack, from a wound, from a longing for something that I desired, a manifestation that I hoped would emerge, but never came to fruition, right? So when we have those moments, it can feel profound, but at the same time, it can feel energetically reinforcing, because again, that is not the energy that says I'm I'm trapped in the past. This is the energy that says I'm healing from a past. And so we see even now, this is masculine and feminine. Like the beautiful thing I see, I keep on hearing this energy say, respectfully in the present. Like this is why whatever choices the energy and separation is making right now, it almost feels like it's saying respectfully in the present, because this is the energy that even in this moment articulates to one another and says, I'm not stuck in the past. I'm introspecting upon the past while at the same time moving into the present. So there's a lot of this, like, and again, I'm getting here a lot of this pickiness. But the beauty of this is when we're doing it in a positive way, it feels like it creates energetic confidence as it relates to our decisions. I told you, what are we going to have to work on right now during the Mars retrograde? Courage, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, a lot of this energy that we see coming into divine union right now has to do with a lot, like I told you, this is more of that energetic, like this is more of that pickiness that doesn't feel like it has a place to go. It's like a lot of this pickiness over unimportant things. So I can see, like, the only thing I'll say right now for energy coming into divine union is like don't get into like a conflict space over stuff that isn't important right now. You know what I mean? Like it feels like a lot of, like, for most of the energy here, for energy coming into divine union, it feels like playful bickering. But make sure that playful bickering is such that both, like, the energies invested in it both feel the same way about it. Because everything I keep seeing here is it almost feels like the pickiness is helping energy heal from those circumstances or situations that feel like they can't do much about them, right? Like something that's out of their hands. But this is why I see so much of this energy getting more picky about the things that they have tangibility on. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I keep on hearing, I never thought of it that way. I never saw it that way at the time. There's something that's happening right now as it relates to healing an intimacy wound. And what's nice about it is when we heal intimacy wounds, we can look at something and it allows us different perspectives, right? So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that work here. And I have to say, it feels restorational, right? It feels cathartic. It feels supportive. It feels patient. You know, and it's interesting too, because I told you there's a lot of this, like, there's a lot of, everything I kept reading was there was a lot of Pisces energy right now that was coming through. A lot of those, like, unprocessed feelings. But did you notice all the words I'm saying right now are P words? So this is taking the Piscean energy and moving it into things that are practical, which is patience, prioritization, processing. Right? Like a lot of these, like moving something into a place that it becomes energetically practical. Continuing to get clarification between our star energy in its upright in combination with our chariot card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Empress card in its upright. Now, here we go. I got to tell you. So yesterday, we have had some very interesting. There's been some very interesting things happening in the cards over the last few days, as you may recall, I mentioned there has not been a lot of court card activity or a lot of representation of masculine or feminine energy on the table. In fact, we went 2 days, a few days ago, without a single feminine energy card on the table. Yesterday, we had a Knight of Wands in its reversal and a Page of Cups. It's a little bit of this like holding breath kind of energy, right? It's like a lot of communication blockages here, or a lot of that like uncertainty. But the thing I wanted to define about this is like a lot of this work, it feels like both masculine and feminine energy are effectively in alignment right now. Like that's the reason that we're not seeing a lot of the masculine or feminine on the table, is because this becomes like this is universal work that's happening here. And when we get the universality of work, we start to see less of the disparity between how it's impacting masculine and feminine, because it's affecting them in the same way. Now, the one thing I'll see here, and that's why like the one thing I'll see here, especially for the feminine right now, is this is feminine showing up. This is feminine showing up in a big way today. Right? This is feminine showing up bigger, like in a bigger way than we've seen over the last few days. But I like this because it feels to me like the feminine energy is moving in such a way that they're allowing, I want to say this, feminine is allowing their vulnerability and compassion to guide them. These two cards together are absolutely wild because they're very different. Okay, they're very different. But that's the thing about this. Like what I like about this is it does like this is how the feminine energy is healing right now, because I just keep on seeing the feminine that says my vulnerability is a gift. My vulnerability is a gift. My vulnerability is a gift. And so like why, like that's a lot of the, and this is the masculine that is saying, like deep within divine union, saying almost the same exact thing to feminine, right? And because that's the feminine that is, I want to say this is feminine that shows strength in their vulnerability, right? This is the feminine that shows strength in their vulnerability. This isn't the feminine that says, oh, I just have to stop being vulnerable. Right? Or this is not the feminine that says, oh, I just, I have to be compassionate in all things. This is the feminine, I told you, that knows how to switch up speeds. Right? Like this is the feminine that knows how to switch up speeds. And that in itself, like I want to say, like that is the, like this is the energy of the masculine in combination with feminine that appreciates and sees that as the greatest strength of the feminine, right? Because that's the masculine that looks at the feminine and says that is someone who knows who they are, right? Like, and that's a lot of the masculine that again works in that space and feels frustrated because they understand that is something that is not, that feminine has to create themselves in the wake. And this is why so much of the masculine that sees that in feminine feels protective to it, because they recognize how hard it is for feminine to come on that journey in the wake of, again, this is the disparity between the masculine that feels like the frustration and seeing in coming close to feminine and seeing pathwork that they are celebrated upon, that feminine has to navigate in a completely different way, right? So, and I just almost feel like that's a masculine that gets like, I see the masculine deep within divine union that gets boxing gloves on because like that's the masculine that becomes energetically protective of the fact that whenever feminine's doing that, there's always someone that says you're doing it wrong. You're being too much yourself. You're doing it wrong. You're being too you. Stop doing that. Right? And we're masculine. And that's why we see that some of that masculine energy gets very I feel like there's a lot of this like energetic protectiveness right now over the feminine, having to navigate the feminine that always has to move in that way and is told that they're doing it wrong every step of the way, right? While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, same exact energetic message. But the big thing I see that's happening today, like this is big. I see energy in separation. I see a lot of energy right now that's coming into divine union, moving deep into divine union today. And I see a lot of energy in separation, moving into divine union right now. And a lot of that is the recognition of a manifestation that's coming towards someone in a way that you had not anticipated, right? And I want to say I'm going to say even now what I'm also seeing, and we often see this right now, is often at the same time that we see energy that is moving deeper into divine union, we also sometimes can see energy moving back into separation. Why? Because there is a refinement of the manifestation goals that is occurring right now that has to do with, again, choice. It's not picky if it's important. And there's something about the power of that choice or amplifying that sense of feeling the importance of what that manifestation goal is that is amplifying a lot of these new partnerships that are forming right now in this Mars retrograde. Like this feels like a lot of the culmination of that work that is occurring right now. Continuing to get clarification between our Chariot energy in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Cups in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Eight of Cups in its upright. Now I got to show you this because this is important stuff. This is some important stuff that we're seeing right now. I just want you to recognize, you see this? These two cards together are really significant. The Seven of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Cups in its upright. Why are these cards so fundamental together? Because it's not just the fact that there's a lot of energy right now navigating the space of choice, but feeling the security and stability of those energetic choices, right? Like there's a lot of this energy that feels like this. And I'm going to tell you even now, if there are some energies that are coming into separation right now, there's something about honoring one another's choice, seeing how easy it can be to honor another's choice that feels like a release and a relief, because I just keep seeing that there's some energy right now in separation that is healing from some experiences in the past that were causing karmic pain because someone was not honoring another's energetic choice, right? Like that moment or that modality, I just keep seeing that that's the energy that says that they're operating in that space of taking another's choice at face value, right? Not trying to come into that space of energetically convincing another, of something. Like there's a lot of this work that's happening here in relationality to alignment. And so that's why I keep seeing that this is either energy that's moving into partnership right now, out of separation, recognizing the difference, right? This is starting to show me some of these different modalities that we're experiencing right now, either moving into partnership and understanding the feeling of fulfillment while at the same time being able to compare it to a feeling of lack from the past, right? Immediately getting that clarification point, because this is the energy that then moves and shifts from something they were holding and saying, this is what the fulfillment feels like. That was what the longing felt like, right? Being able to tell the difference. Via also, I'm seeing some situations or circumstances right now wherein there's some energy right now that even if they're not coming into union, the recognition point of something that is important to one, right? Recognizing the prioritization of pickiness or feeling that sense of feeling energetically good with the decision and honoring another's choice. This is what feels clarifying. This is what feels energetically fundamental and healing, because this is the energy that does not try to force something. And I see even now, even if there's a separation occurring and another person doesn't force it and honors another's choice, immediate healing, because it's healing from some experiences in the past wherein another felt like more of that confusion in relationality to another, not knowing what direction they were going in, or trying to make someone, this is coming through, trying to make someone change by threatening to leave, right? Like, that's the thing about it. There's something really fundamental about seeing how easy a separation can be, how much one can respect another right now. That is immediately, even, I'm getting, even in the separation, it feels healing because it shows someone how easy it can be to heal even through a separation when we honor one another on that journey, right? Continuing for a lot of this energy right now, continuing between our Justice card in its upright in combination with our Four of Cups in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now. And I like this. We've got here a lot of this work right now. And this is important. This is important. This is so important for the energy and separation right now. I see right now two different modalities happening for some energy and separation. I'm either seeing some very strong connections that are starting to form right now, and every step in the direction of it, seeing how easy it can be with someone that desires the same things as you. And again, it's bittersweet because every moment it does, it's reinforming them on an experience where it felt like every step forward was a struggle. Or these are experiences where there's a healthy separation occurring. There's a disparity, and it's a fundamental one. But even in that disparity, the gift of honoring each other in the process of doing it is immediately healing situations in the past where another was trying to use separation as a way to adjust someone else's pathwork, right? Someone trying to utilize it less as a place of honoring it and more trying to take advantage of an abandonment wound. So everything I'm seeing here, it just feels like I'm getting, and this is what's interesting. I'm getting here wounds of intimacy that are being healed in separation right now by seeing how easy it can be, right? And that's the thing that's coming through. See how easy it can be. But the see how easy it can be, it's because it's the energy that recognizes that they work hard for something to be easy, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, this is why I see some of this, like, bickering on something. It actually feels like releasing grief. Because this is the energy that's focusing on what they feel is in their power to change and allowing that space of, again, healing from anything that is outside of the self. Because I told you, some of this energy coming into divine union, they put it in the hands of time. If there's something that they feel that another person does not see something the same way, this is the energy that says we do what we can and we leave time to do the rest. Because that's the energy that says we don't sit I keep on hearing that's the energy keeping their hands busy, right? There's a lot to do, right? They're just focusing on the doing. While for masculine and feminine energy, something, I keep getting the same message. There's some deep wounds of intimacy, much like the energy deep within, like coming in separation, which is, again, if this is the energy that feels messy, this is the energy that immediately says it's our mess, right? It's a lot of that work that feels like it feels very focused. It feels very driven, and it feels very much, again, how do I explain this? There's almost like this level or degree of positivity being brought forth in something, because I keep on hearing, like I told you, like that perception of what are we going to do with all this fish? All of that, all of those difficult feelings. I see that this is the energy deep within divine union that's finding productive places to put it. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Cups in its upright in combination with our Empress card in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Two of Wands. I like this too because this does feel, today is a very good day for communication. It feels like there's a lot of clarity. I don't know. It's interesting because you'll remember, as I mentioned, the last few days there's been a lot of, I was telling you, like there was a lot, just being a little careful about communication, not being misunderstood, not taking something the wrong way. This actually feels like the restorational conversations here. Like this is the energy that, like I told you, it's not that we're ever tested, but there are moments that we're navigating something and it feels less than ideal. Like the energy around us less than ideal, which is why it sometimes can feel like a test. But I keep on seeing that there's some energy right now in separation that's learning how to communicate to triggers instead of reacting upon them. And it's like, and in the minute, I keep on hearing some energy in separation saying, oh my gosh, what a relief. I'm so glad you said something. Thank you. Let me clear that up. Because it's in the moment that someone articulates upon a trigger instead of reacting to it is the opportunity created to be able to heal something, right? And so everything I keep seeing here, like this is, again, partnerships that are foundational upon warrior energy. Because this is the energy that has the courage to communicate about how they're feeling instead of allowing their fear to guide them in directions oppositional to what it is that they intend to move towards, right? And I'm telling you, even now, being able to do that right now when confidence is not there, this is why this is warrior energy, because this is the energy that's finding the courage to do that within, not without. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, I just keep on hearing busy, 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 busy. We're going to focus on the things that we are in our power to change, and we're not going to over concentrate on something that is outside of our power to do so. Because I just keep on seeing that there's something about that again, I keep hearing it's not our responsibility to change another person's perspective. Like this is the energy that feels like they're doing that because they're giving compassion to something, right? And that's that's like the compassionate distance that we give another that says, I honor your path. I've got a lot to do. Maybe I'll see you. Maybe I'll see you down here. You'll you know where I am, While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, I just keep seeing there's a lot of this work right now as it relates to processing messy feelings, like really unpacking something that is difficult or something that like you're looking at in a way that you haven't before, right? Like I almost see that there's a lot of energy right now deep within divine union that's come into their own healing to such an extent that they have a whole different perspective on something from the past, right? And there's something about that feels supportive and beneficial and productive. And a lot of that is amplifying a lot of those plans that they're making in the present. Continuing to get clarification between our Empress card in its upright in combination with our Eight of Cups in its upright. Two cards right now. These are some very, very strong cards right now. One card to clarify. One card, please. Yep. Everything's about choices, man. Like a lot of this, like Two of Pentacles stuff right now. And I gotta say, I like this because remember when I was saying that one of the difficulties that occurs often in Aquarius season has to do with that like desire to disassociate, right? Like a lot of that energy that's like, I'm just going to go into my mind palace. Everything's fine there. Like escapist fantasy realms is like the watchword of the day when like we're navigating energy like this, because it's all too easy to just like move into what makes you feel comfortable. But again, recognizing that, and this is what we have to understand, a lot of that work of Aquarius season, Aquarius is understanding that when we bring ideals into reality, it's messy stuff. It's never energetically perfect. But it doesn't mean that we become completely, like, it doesn't mean that we just take it in any way that we desire it to be, right? We focus on what is fundamental and we are adaptable on the rest, because it's a lot of that silk to steel approach, right? Understanding what is a prioritization point and being adaptable in relationality to the rest of it. So everything I keep seeing that's happening right now has a lot to do with the refining of a manifestation goal. And that's why I keep saying right now that there's something about honoring energetic choices now that is happening for the energy and separation that is so fundamental. Because the thing that's happening here is, regardless of what direction I see some of the energy moving right now in separation, the feeling of doing so, right? Not like and like feeling strong in that journey, feeling confident, like in that choice, remembering that we are going through a Mars retrograde where confidence is not to be found. This is the energy that is finding the courage to be confident in their choices in the midst of a time when that courage is entirely like created within the self, right? I told you this is a lot of that work that we see navigating from a place of courage. And for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, some of that energy, it feels a bit like a wait and see, because that same sense of working through or letting go of any experiences wherein another person had an opinion that was different than yours and doing everything in your power to change it, but not moving off of your own alignment to do so. This is more of that energy that feels that same sense of courage. So again, a lot of energy right now in separation, moving into divine union today. A lot of energy right now that's coming into divine union, moving deeper into divine union right now. Where again, a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, this is finding parts of the self that you could not find before, finding parts of the self that you could not access. Because like, why do we see that? Because this is a lot of that energy that recognizes that when we heal, like when we heal the wounds of intimacy, we find parts of ourselves in that process, because that's a lot of that energy that's coming into a space of accepting themselves, not looking at themselves as faulty, but a work in progress. Continuing to get clarification right now between our 9 of Wands and its reversal in combination with our 2 of Wands and its upright. A lot of openness as it relates to conversations right now. We've got a lot. We've got a lot of 6 energy here today, but I like where the 6s are because it feels like the 6 energy, when it's in its upright, speaks towards harmony, right? It speaks towards navigating into a place of harmony. And so even here, like, this says to me that with a lot of this work here is, it feels like karmic release. But I want to put it this way. Karmic release is not what we talk about in terms of saying I forget something or I let something go or I'm just not going to think about it. That's not karmic release. That's disassociating. Releasing karma is when we understand something, right? We understand the value of an energetic lesson. We understand something that we can take with us that feels positive and supportive on that journey. So that's why I keep seeing that there's something really fundamental that's happening right now for some of the energy in separation, because I just keep on hearing this energy that says, I'm ready, right? And that readiness is not the readiness that says, okay, I've got the courage and confidence to do something that I don't want to do or I don't feel like I do. This is the energy that says, I understand the assignment. Like, I understand the universal assignment of the self. I understand the difference between like what the emotions desire versus what is energetic reality, right? And I understand the difference between what longing feels like versus having. I understand the difference between like the desire for something to come into fruition versus moving in the concept of building that for myself. And so it's that moment that the energy feels that space that, you know, it's almost like that's what I meant in that space of like energetic surrender. This is why it's warrior energy, because this is the energetic warrior. Again, what does the energetic warrior say? The energetic warrior does not know what the path holds. They feel the confidence and courage of themselves to know that they can navigate whatever comes before them, right? It's like, it's a feeling of being good here, right? And so I feel like a lot of this energy here in separation is finding their heart in the process, right? Like that sense of saying, I'm good. I'm going to follow that direction because I have those coordinates. And it's heavy, right? It's heavy when we do that, but it's also, we feel that sense of nourishment on the journey. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is the energy, like, again, like I hear like a little bit of that energy sighing to a certain extent, because again, it's not that everything is ideal. But what is the energy coming into divine union saying? If it's not ideal, and this is what the energy deep within divine union was saying a few days ago, so the message has moved down into the energy coming into divine union. If it's not ideal, I guess we have our work cut out for us, right? If it's not ideal, this is the energy that says, I guess we know what we need to do. And this is the energy that feels the alignment. They're coming into union because they share ideals. They share ideals of what that looks like. They're holding the same map. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is deep within divine union, this is why it feels really messy right now, but it feels like the type of messiness of like reorganizing something. It's like it's messy, but now it looks like that mess is reorganizing. Now, like the mess is like redistributing something, putting something in different places, because this is a lot of the energy that sees like that messiness and doesn't feel overwhelmed by it. They get more productive within it. Continuing to get clarification between our 2 of Wands in its upright and our 2 of Pentacles in its reversal. Again, a lot of these similar cards coming through right now. Can I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 9 of Cups in its reversal. Here's the thing, and this is like whatever, like I know that, and this is what's great about, I don't want to say great, but like this is more of the same energy we keep seeing for a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union. It's not just enough having feelings right now, but I just keep seeing that for a lot of the energy right now. That's why I keep on saying, like, what are we going to do with all this fish? Because it's a lot of that Piscean energy of saying, like, like feelings doesn't get anything done. This is where the Aquarian energy is hitting. Feelings don't get things done. Like emotions, like feeling sad about the way things are doesn't fix things. Fixing things fixes things. So I almost see a lot of this energy that is just moving the feelings into something that feels practical or productive. Like that's the benefit of a lot of this Aquarian energy right now. It feels very productive and it feels like a lot of productivity. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, I just keep seeing that there's a lot of energy coming into divine union that's moving deeper into divine union right now, specifically and particularly because there's something about being in such alignment that there's even like, I keep on seeing the fact that the bickering over small things is the breakthrough, because I keep on seeing this energy that's looking back and saying, I never thought we'd reach this point. Like I never thought we'd reach a point that we'd be bickering over these small things when we used to be bickering over like what this was, right? Like this is the energy that feels like we've come a long way. And that in itself, like it feels reinforcing. While for a lot of energy right now in separation, I just see again, I see new partnerships. I see some energy moving out of separation today and over the next few days, simply because there's something about that. I keep on hearing some energy saying, this is it, isn't it? Like this is that, like we've got the same ideals, we've got the same direction. And I keep on seeing that even feeling a shift in terms of how one is perceiving something from the past. There's almost a little bit of that inevitability that's taking wing. Well, I do see, and I will say this right now, I do also simultaneously, and it's frequent that we see this, see some energy moving back into separation, but being good with it. And there's something beautiful that's happening with some of those separations, and another being respectful and honoring another's feelings, that is providing a qualifier as it relates to how something can be navigated even when we're not in alignment. And it's reinforcing something of the past where it may have felt like you couldn't separate from something with someone without it becoming a messy process, right? I keep on hearing honoring pathwork, honoring pathwork, honoring pathwork. Final card today, between our Six of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Nine of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify. Final card for today, the Moon card. This is wild. This is wild. Why is this wild right now? Go look at yesterday's reading. Go look at yesterday's reading. The last card, does anyone remember what the last card was yesterday that we pulled? It was the Sun card. It was the Sun card. So yesterday we ended our reading with the Sun card. And today we end the reading with the Moon card. And this is why I'm telling you right now, there are so many fundamental partnerships that are coming through, because I told you there's something that's being healed right now as it relates to the difference between dread and surprise. What is the difference between dread and surprise? Okay? Dread is that feeling that is most articulated to what is happening. What is happening, right? Like, what is happening? And I see some experiences like in the past of someone healing from relationships where someone's like, I just like to keep you in a state of constant anticipation. Someone recognizing that another person putting us in a dread space can often create a connection because we're trying to get clarity, right? It feels like we're stumbling around in the dark looking for a light switch, and someone's always holding the light a little bit further away from us, right? We just move further into that space and it never gets clearer. It just gets more foggy, right? There is some energy right now in separation that's recognizing and healing the difference between dread and surprise. What is surprise? Surprise is feeling that sense of knowing what the future holds, just not being exactly clear on the details, right? Like, that's why a surprise is nice, because it doesn't feel like dread. It feels like anticipation. So even here, this is why I'm seeing that for a lot of this energy and separation, either navigating, moving deeper into connection right now, or healthy separation is healing the experience of uncertainty. Because what is the energy in a healthy place doing? Honoring each other and being in a space. And I'll put it this way, because this is what I'm effectively seeing here. This is either the energy that is coming into divine union and saying to themselves in the process, I didn't expect it to be this way. But not in a negative way, in that way of going recognize, again, I told you, the energy that says I surrendered the dream and then I found the dream, because this isn't the energy that says I focused on what was important and I let the universe surprise me. And so even now there's like a little bit of that, like that recognition that's occurring, because they're moving in that space in a place of wonder. Right? It's not dread, it's wonder, right? Like it's not dread, it's wonder. And they're being like, hey, this is a different feeling. Oh yeah, it's not dread. And looking at something and being like, oh yeah, that was an experience where I was constantly having to navigate dread instead of wonder. Versus, I just keep seeing some energy right now that even if they're coming into separation, the energy that almost says to one another, I respect where you are. If anything changes, you let me know. It's that easy. I can almost hear the universe saying to them, like, yeah, it's that easy. That's what it looks like when someone respects you, right? That's what it looks like when someone honors your journey. They don't want you to move towards them in a way that feels doesn't feel like it's in alignment to you. They just immediately say, and so I see even now, like, again, a lot of this energy looking even at a separation point from a point of wonder and saying, it could be that easy. And the universe going like, yeah, it could be that easy. That's what it looks like when someone cares about you and separates, even in a place of being energetically respectful in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I told you, what did this energy do? They're focusing on what is tangible and effective to them. And anything outside of their own ability to navigate, they're not putting over concentration on it, right? They're focusing on what feels supportive. And if there's spaces here that create uncertainty, they're shining lights into those spaces, right? They're doing everything they can to put light in those spaces, because this is how we heal. We don't run away from our anxiety, right? We confront, we find the courage to do so. We address the things that feel like we can address them. And I want to say we respectfully let go of the rest, right? Because that sense or space, that's the energy that says to one another that they do so together. While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union right now, I just keep seeing that there's a lot of this energy deep within divine union that is working on, I told you, like feeling energetically strong enough to heal some very deep wounds of intimacy, right? And that can always feel a little clumsy, because I just keep on seeing that it feels very messy when we do that, because we're navigating something that we either haven't spoken on before or we weren't energetically ready. But this is also just a reminder, like I just keep on seeing, like we talk about this a lot. Like when we talk about shadow work, we talk about that sense of like going into the self, navigating one's own fears, navigating one's own sense of shame. And sometimes we have to be in a healthy space before we can do so. Right? Like that's why when people are like, I only do shadow work. I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Like, because that space of doing so is like our light is directly proportional to what we can navigate within. So I see even now like a lot of that energy that works in that space, specifically and particularly because this is the energy that says I introspect on myself and the things that are difficult, because that's how I bring the light in, right? And that's what we talk about. Like, again, even like when you're navigating in that space, it's not like, oh, I only do the things that feel good in my healing process. Oh, good. That seems healthy. Like, it requires us to be able to dig deep. It requires us to look at those parts of ourselves that are hard to look at, right? Because we shine the light there first so that we don't inadvertently harm others in those places, right? Like, we shine the light in first, and that way we like it's like a lot. I want to know where Chiron is, because it feels a lot like that. Like we work on the self first so that others don't have to, right? like that is what like there you go. You want to heal, like that's why it's hard. Like I'm like we're going in there first. Bottom of the deck on this reading, bam, Strength card. I'm not surprised to see it. This is a lot of that work and navigate. Listen, I know this Mars retrograde it's frustrating. It just keeps going. It's going to be like this till February 23rd. Again, store-bought, you can't get any store-bought confidence right now. There's no confidence to be had. Confidence is gone. Mars took all the confidence with them when they went on a little vacation until February 23rd. But again, this is just your daily reminder that confidence and courage are not the same thing. They're cousins. They look a lot alike. It's hard to tell them apart. They walk the same, they look the same, but I'll tell you right now, the difference is courage and confidence never exist in the same space. Because when you have confidence, when you're sure of something, you do not need courage, right? And when you're courageous, like you don't need to be courageous if you're confident. So again, let that guide you. And that doesn't mean to run full tilt towards your fear, because that's not that's not confident either. We work in the space of our fear. We navigate it in a healthy way, right? To recognize what we can change, what we can take the notes on, versus what is outside of our own ability to control, right? So a healthy, like honestly, courage often feels like we're moving in the direction of our fear, because it is that it's like the paradox of courage is one that it doesn't feel courageous. It feels like we don't know what we're doing. but it's that intentionality and sense of purpose that guides us. And that doesn't mean that we move haphazardly. It means that we move intentionally. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Hermit card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Wheel of Fortune. I cannot wait to teach this class. It might be 2 classes. I'm trying to decide if we can fit it all in one class. We're going to talk about the history of that card, the symbology. I'm going to walk you through spread applications and show you a unique spread that you can help channel the messages of the Wheel of Fortune into your own readings. And all you need to do if you'd like to become a part of that class program is become a paid subscriber to my Substack. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access as a monthly subscriber to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library. It's not necessary to catch up for each class. I'll be doing my best to give you a recap on everything that we've studied thus far. And you'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me to ask any questions you may have in relation to anything that we have learned or are currently learning. If you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. Also, as a founding member, you will have full access to the Tarot Church Library. Even if you don't become a paid, and if you are a subscriber over on the Clock app, or if you're a member on the place where we keep the videos, please make sure that you head over to our subscriber only Discord channel, because there you will find a special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to that Substack subscription. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services. I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for my clients seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Those classes are focused on whatever area of personal growth or spiritual development you are most invested in learning more about, and can be purchased on a weekly or on an individual basis or as a monthly class series. That is 4 45-minute classes, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. Finally, I want to let you guys know that I'm now also offering dream interpretation readings. You can purchase these on an individual level per dream or as a monthly class series. If you purchase the dream package, I encourage you to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly to review that dream journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key messages and symbols that are coming through your dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again